From the very best to very worst. The groundbreaking and space making. From the frosted to the toasted. From dog shit to pog shit. We're ranking Hero Ultimates here today, folks. Season 13 began only a few days ago from the date I'm recording this. Let's get into this and see where I'd place them on this list. D.va's self-destruct. Intriguing. Do note, despite the fact that these are all my opinion, I'm very, very encouraging of you guys contesting it and saying, Clowner, you're wrong. D.va's self-destruct is an interesting one. I feel like it can be a great space-making tool. I mean, it's got the potential to obviously open up a lot of opportunities to engage into a fight, move the enemies where you need them to, but to get actual eliminations with it isn't too common unless you are a particularly skilled D.va using particularly specific bomb spots. For that reason, I'm not putting it too high up, but I'm not putting it too low down either. It's just below average in the motherfrickin' C tier. There it is. Yeah, okay, I'm going to try and approach this realistically without having my biases. Whilst it is, how do I phrase this? Whilst it is an absolutely fucking dreadful ultimate ability, now in Overwatch 2, it has some benefits in regards to the cooldown improvement they made, making your cooldowns recharge faster when you use Meteor Strike, and also the healing that it gives you. So it's not complete dog shit, but I will put it in the D tier, just above dog shit. Rampage, rampage, rampage. Okay. Considering the current meta isn't super Kiriko focused now that Juno's here, it's a lot of Juno Brig. I can see it being quite useful, and it always has been useful. It's just that Kiriko has been meta for so long that it's really almost impossible to use this ult without it being countered by some sort of cleanse. So, with the lack of Kiriko currently, I will upgrade it from a C tier to a B tier ultimate. Pretty good. Mauga's Cage Fight. This is a good ult. Mauga's Cage Fight isn't one of those ultimates that's super situational. I think it works in a lot of cases to get its job done, which is to be a zoning ultimate. It's not an ult like D.va Bomb where it provides value from space, but the main part of it is to get a pick or two. This you don't get a pick from. This is purely a space ultimate, and so for that reason, I think it would be definitely higher than D.va. On top of this, I think it's a great combination ultimate into a lot of different abilities and other ultimates. To be able to hold them in that space is so valuable, I think, especially in this sort of meta. And therefore, I would like to put Mauga in the A tier. He's up there. This is ultimates only. I'm not saying Mauga's A tier, because he's far from it. Orisa Rebutting. Orisa's ult is not very good. I'm not gonna mince words around here, it's not that great. Is it better than Meteor Strike in D tier? Yes. Is it better than D.va Bomb? No. It's sometimes situationally good. Not really. I'm going to put it in with the Doom ult. I'm not gonna lie, it's with Meteor Strike. I wouldn't put it on the same level as D.va Bomb. Annihilation from Ramattra. Okay, let's think about this. Annihilation. Damage output, not that much. Like half of a Winston damage output. It extends the Nemesis form though, meaning that you can stand there and be a block bot for a very, very frickin' long time. Okay, I think that's where the utility comes from that ult in the higher echelon of players, is that you can obviously extend the time that you're just blocking damage for your team just by being around them, having that 20-second long Nemesis form. So it's good in that regard. Would I say that it's exceptional? No. But would I say it's better than a lot of these ults? Yes. I'm debating A or B tier. And I think I'm going to put it in B. It's a B tier. Reinhardt's Earth Shatter. I'm a very big nut for this ultimate. But folks, it's not about bias, it's not about preferences. Let's talk objective fact. It's countered by a lot of things. It's a very easily counterable ultimate. That is true. However, let me make a point that Reinhardt's Earth Shatter is the tank version of Tracer's Pulse Bomb. Okay? You build Shatter very, very quickly in a Reinhardt-based composition. If you're running Lúcio, Kiri, whatever seconds of Ana, right? And you're able to speed in there, swing-a-ling, deal a lot of damage with Reinhardt. You're building Shatter left, right, and center. A Suzu messes up one of your Shatters is like missing a Pulse Bomb. You'll get it back next fight. However, when Reinhardt's Shatter does hit, it hits. It's a big one, okay? And for that reason, in the similar way that I think that Pulse Bomb is impactful, we haven't got to it yet, but you know my thoughts on it now. I think Reinhardt's Shatter deserves to be in A tier, up there with the big dogs. Whole hog, whole load of shit. It's not amazing. Sort of requires Kitsune for it to be valuable in a lot of situations. It's good for displacement, it's good for breaking shields. Is it good for much else? Not really. However, I think it's better than Meteor Strike and Orisa's ult, for sure. So I am going to put it in C tier for that reason, which is surprising to see it above those two, but it's just the way it is in Overwatch 2 now. Sigma, with the graphitic Flux. Flux is an impeccable ultimate. Absolutely game-breaking tank ultimate. Is it easily counterable? Yes. Are there measurements you can take to stop it being so easily? Yes. Yes, there are. There are lots of techs and little divots you can do with Sigma to stop Flux being so ungraphitic. Flux is a game changer. When it hits, it's hitting hard. The first one on here that I'm going to confidently put in the S tier. Up there. Big dog. Winston Primal Rage. Primal Rage is the OG GOAT ultimate of Overwatch 1. Primal Rage is a great ultimate ability, great for displacement, not so good in the lower ranks, but being able to displace the enemy team becomes more and more important the higher rank you climb. Being able to juggle people and get final blows, or even displace people, move them out of position so that your enemy can get kills and move enemies into your own team is very, very strong. Primal Rage also grants Winston an insane, ludicrous amount of HP, getting him out of a lot of situations like Meteor Strike. However, unlike Meteor Strike, it is not just used to get out of things. The Primal Rage has a boatload of utility that comes with it, being able to displace, obviously. So I'm going to... I'm debating A and B once again. I think I will put Primal Rage... Let's put it in A tier. Come on. Actually, stop. It's a B tier ultimate. Because it's Overwatch 2 and you get killed quickly. Wrecking Ball, Minefield. Guys, Minefield is an S tier. If you're an idiot, you might be thinking, Clowner, what the blood clot are you talking about? Minefield does everything. Is it quick charging? Tick that off the box. Can it be used to zone enemies and displace them? Tick that off the freaking box. Does it deal a fuck ton of damage? Tick it off the box. Like you look at Minefield as an ultimate and you look at it on paper and you think, damn, that's a really strong ultimate. And then you translate to in-game where if you use that correctly and you think to yourself, damn, that's a really strong ultimate. There are a few strong counters to it, such as Reinhardt, Swing, Maze, Primary Fire, EMP, but they are very specific and limited. Minefield, S tier. Easy. Zarya's Graviton Surge. Grav is again another one of those game-breaking ultimates. I feel like the tank ultimates should be, considering there's only one. So why Orisa and Doom still have those ultimates that are as poop as they are now is a mystery. Zarya's Grav is in fact game-breaking, just like Shatter, just like Minefield. It takes a long time to charge. Very long time to charge. One of the longest times for a tank ultimate to charge if you're not so favorable with gaining high charge. Is it worth it once you get it? Absolutely, but it takes so long. So, it would be S tier, but I'm putting it in A tier for that reason. In case you couldn't tell the format of this video, we are doing this roll by roll. That's all the tanks finished. We're done. We move on to the damage. Bobby! We got Bob. Ashe's Bob. Great ult. Look at it written down on paper. Does it displace? Yes. Does it deal a great load of damage? Yes. Is it easy to earn? Not super easy, but it's not terrible either. It's a good ultimate. Would I say it's one of the best? No. But I'd definitely put it above the C mark. Minimum B. I'm debating between A and B right now. So let's dive a little further into it. Let's think. You were thinking I was going to start talking. No, I'm just thinking in my head. I'm putting it in A tier. Bob is an A tier ultimate. Bastion. Oh. Ooh. Bastion's ult is not good. Not in a good place. Man, they should bring the tank form back, no? The new Bastion ult, artillery, is not good. It can be comboed with some things to be pretty beneficial, like example, combo it with Grav. Hey, that holds them in place for it. However, it's not going to kill through Suzu. It's not going to kill through a shield. So is it really that good? No. Plus its only utility comes from when they are forced to be grouped together. That's going to be the first E tier ultimate. Please get it out of here. Get it out of Overwatch 2. It blows. Cassidy's High Noon. As if Bastion's wasn't bad enough. With the introduction of Juno and her Hyper Ring, along with the rework to High Noon, which allows you to move faster toward the end of the ultimate, that seems to be the only main fun way and effective way of getting unexpected kills. But I feel like even now people are just expecting it at this point. Cassidy High Noon is going to be a pretty obvious, and I'm fairly certain uncontested E tier. I don't think I'm going to be getting much lashback in the comments. Echo's Duplicate. An interesting and usually forgotten about ultimate. Duplicate allows you to be anyone on the enemy team, which is good, and you gain ult faster, which is good, and they reworked it not so long ago so that you earn ult very quickly. It's one of the quickest charging ults in the game other than Tracer and Baby D.va if you're being petty. The actual utility behind the ult is good. It's a great ultimate. Obviously, you have to earn the ultimate ability first while you're the duplicated hero, so a lot of the time you don't get too much utility from that aspect of it. But even if you're duplicating Ana's and getting nades onto the backline, it's very, very effective for a fight win, plus it gives you a whole extra life to contest with. I'd say Echo Ultimate is pretty good, and I'd put it up in the A tier. Ooey mama. Genji's Dragon Blade. I need to give Genji's ultimate the same treatment I gave Doomfist. We need to be rational. We need to be fair. Man, Genji's ult fucking sucks. It's just so hard to get value from Genji's ult. And I sound like I'm a crybaby wow Genji player, but you have to be like Sparkle level Genji in order to actually gain any value from Dragon Blade. It's so difficult because it just
You use it, a beacon is on your head, and everybody turns to fire at you. If you're using it for distraction purposes, that's the only utility it's got. I'm gonna have to put it in E tier. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to put it in E tier. It's dog. Hanzo's Dragon Strike. I mean, similarly to his brother, the power yielded by the dragon is boom. Brother, the Symmetra ultimates are terrible. Why is that? I don't think I need to do much explaining behind that. Obviously, in Overwatch 1, people were new. The element of surprise as to where the dragon was coming from. Oh my god, it could be there. It could be, you know, it was new back then. But we're used to it now. It's the easiest ultimate to avoid. You just hobble to the right. Like grandma, you pull grandma off the Zimmer frame, she can do it. Dragon Strike's gotta also be an E tier, I'm afraid. Junkrat's tire has seen better days. It's been nerfed a little bit over the years. Similarly to Dragon Strike, it's lost its surprise element. It's become very predictable a lot of the times, even when you are a higher skilled Junkrat player and you're very unpredictable with your tire movements. You're doing rollouts over the Notre Dame. Because of that one change where the HP of all heroes has increased, you're getting less picks with tire, but also, along with that patch, they're increasing the damage of a lot of things too, meaning that Tyre's health has stayed the same. It just gets one-shot by so many things. It's not super viable, but when you do land one, it's good. It's better than Dragon Blade, in my opinion. Better than a lot of the E-tier ultimates. All of them, actually. So for that reason, I will be placing Riptire one above in the D tier. Blizzard. Blizzard. Blizzard is an ultimate that gets a lot of mixed feelings from the community. Half of the players are, nerf me! Please nerf me! Blizzard is too strong, remove freeze! Please remove freeze! The other half of the players, the more intelligent ones in my opinion, are like, just walk the other way from the Blizzard. It's not that hard, you know? I think in certain situations and compositions, Blizzard can be very effective, but because we're seeing so much Lúcio, so much Juno, more importantly, movement, even despite those abilities, is never an issue for most of the heroes played in Overwatch 2 compositions. So to catch people, let alone a team, just a few people, off guard with Blizzard, is usually unsuccessful. However, it is a fight-winning ultimate if you do, and it can be really big in certain situations. Therefore, I would put Blizzard, along with the fact that it can charge very, very quickly, in the C tier. Pharah's Rocket Barrage. Yeah, I don't know about this one, Chief. It's no bien. It sort of suffers a very similar problem to Genji, where you click that button, there is a beacon on your head. It also suffers a similar problem to Reaper's ultimate, I think, which we'll get to in a moment, where you're a character that is very deadly, and people are going to be looking at a Pharah pretty much the whole time she's inside. So it's very predictable to see her closing in. You know she's going to ult. So people are turning to look at her before she's even clicked the Q button. And when you do click it, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've heard Pharah finish her ult voice line. It's always justice range. Motherfucker's dead before it even gets off. There's like 3 rockets that come out and just disperse into the floor. Barrage, not good. It's an E tier. Speak of the devil, I didn't check the order. Death Blossom from Reaper. Death Blossom is another one of those ults which suffers the issue of predictability, obviously. You see a Reaper coming, he uses his Wraith form, he's closing in on you, and it's like, oh, that motherfucker's gonna ult. Fire all the drones now. And everyone turns to look at him, and he's deceased. It was good once upon a time, comboed with Nano, with the Beyblade meta, but that was a very long time ago. Everyone's HP has increased by then. Folks, it's a non-arguable E tier. If you say anything different in the comments, you're wrong.
Sojourn. Sojourn's ult is a good one. I think Sojourn's ult is a very good one. A good way to think about Sojourn ult is downsides, the only thing it provides you is railgun. Good sides, it provides you railgun. Railgun is the strongest part of Sojourn's kit, unless it fired disruptor shots with each one, which would be kind of nutty, actually. Sojourn ult in its prime would have been an easy S tier, but I will place it now in the A tier next to Echo Duplicate. Allow. Soldier 76 Visor. Now I'm trying to structure this video more toward a higher ranked perspective of play. However, for this one I'll try to think more globally, and I think I'll be generous here by putting it in the D tier instead of the E. In the higher ranks of play, Soldier's ult is literally a free reload. That's it. Because you're able to aim already, you don't need something that assists you doing that. However, not everyone has the aim of Clowner, right? I get it, come on, let's. So, I will put it in the D tier for that reason. There it is. Sombra's EMP. EMP has been a very strong ultimate since its launch. To be able to completely destroy shields, stop everyone from using any ability, including Suzu, by the way. The fact that it stops you from using Suzu, S tier immediately. But let's add a little bit more. Does initial damage, just like Flux. Can hit all 5 enemies at the same time, by the way. It's nuts. Can be cancelled, but it's very difficult to do so. There isn't a lot that's bad about EMP. It's, in my opinion, one of, if not the strongest ult in the game. Sombra's EMP, S tier, with a fair amount of ease. Symmetra's ult is a sticky one. It's not useful 90% of the time, but in 10% of situations, it's very good. Though as an ultimate ability to have what a lot of tanks have as a right click is not that great. It's a big barrier. It does do a lot. It's not really shreddable most of the time with however much HP it has, 4,000 or something. It's ridiculous. But in the grand scheme of things, Season 13 of Overwatch now, everyone's got a movement ability, or we're running Juno or Lúcio. Photon Barrier is going to be in the E tier. Torbjörn's Come. That's right. It's another one of those zoning ults, just like Minefield, just like Bob. Does it do a lot of damage? Definitely. Does a load of damage, if you're standing in it. I think the best ultimate to compare it to would be Wrecking Ball's Minefield. So if we see the positives and negatives in comparison to that, it'll give us a good idea as to where it should belong. Minefield has a very wide spread, wider than Torbjörn ults would be. However, you can choose to place the Torbjörn pellets anywhere you like. You get 10 of those pellets, which you can choose to dot around different doorways and block them off, I suppose. Wrecking Ball's Minefield has a larger hitbox. It's going to hit you if you're floating in the air, like let's say you're double jumping as Genji. It's going to hit you before you land in Torbjörn ult. Overall, I think it's a good ultimate, but I don't think it's an amazing ultimate, but it's a great zoning tool. So I'll put it up in the B tier with Winston. Tracer's Pulse Bomber, an interesting one indeed because of its rapid charge. It's the fastest, other than Baby D.va, fastest charging ultimate in the game. You get it every fight and a half, realistically. It's one of those ults which is so regular, you not getting value with it one time isn't that big of a deal. However, is it counterable by a lot of things? Yes. A lot of the characters in the support roster can counter it. So if you stick Zen and he trances, it's gone. If you stick Moira and she fades, it's gone. If you stick Kiri, she Suzus. Bap can lamp, and then Lifeweaver, I suppose, can grip anyone else. So it is a bit of a sticky one. It does a lot of damage, not enough to kill a tank. I think it's either 300 or 350. So Pulse Bomb won't even out-damage some characters with Brig armor or Lifeweaver armor. But once again, the pace that you're able to build it is absolutely insane. So it's a B tier minimum just from that. I think I personally would put Pulse in the A tier purely because even if you don't get a pick with it, you force a lot of cooldowns for such a cheap ultimate ability. Even if you're not getting a pick from the Pulse Bomb, you're forcing a critical support ability like Suzu or Grip or support ultimate every time you use it. Venture here, coming in with the... I can't remember what it's called. Because let's face it, how often do you see a freaking Venture? Whilst Venture isn't too prevalent for the most part, the ultimate ability that Venture has is pretty good. I think it's a very high damage output ult, but it's another one of those ultimates which is pretty avoidable. I'd argue, if you will, it's like a compressed Genji blade, where with Genji's blade, the ability to fuck up is even more, but the ability to pop off is much higher. With Venture's ult, I feel like the pop potential is lower, but also so is the ability to fuck up. Overall, I think it's better for that reason than Genji's ultimate, but not by too much. I personally would put Venture's ultimate in the C tier here, joining Blizzard, joining Whole Hog. The last of the damage characters now, we've got Widowmaker. Her ultimate ability allows you to see every enemy through the wall. That's it. Useful for Widowmaker, but again, in the higher up ranks, I feel like you should have the knowledge anyway of knowing where the enemies are. So the utility of it, the higher you climb, gradually falls lower and lower and lower until it's practically nothing, providing only value for Widowmaker herself. I honestly think it's better than some of the E tier ultimates here. Like, I'd argue it's better than Bastion's ult, better than High Noon. But do I think it's better than any of the D tier ones? No. So I'm also going to put it in the E tier. There it is. Support ultimates now, considered to be some of the strongest characters in the game. Let's see if the ultimates hold true to that. Nano Boost is a sticky one. Very good amplification for one person, but it's for one person, folks. It's a combination ult, so it's very much so dependent on the performance of the person you're nanoing, and obviously the situation that it's being used in. However, in the optimal conditions, Nano Boost is a very good ultimate. Not only for amplification purposes, but also for life-saving purposes if you're just pumping heals into your tank. If you're running Ana with a Winston or a Reinhardt or even a Mauga, let's say, and you're just nanoing them every time you get it to increase their health, it's good. I think it's one of the lower end support ultimates, but that's just because the support ults are just good. So I'm gonna put it up in the B tier. I think, yes. Baptiste's amplification Matrix. I think Matrix fell off so hard in Overwatch 2, and I'll explain exactly why. Jean-Baptiste was a character run with Orisa in Overwatch 1. Orisa in Overwatch 1, for those that don't know, very, very different character. The synergy between Baptiste and Orisa was very, very good, and Orisa had an ability to pull everyone together, and that was so useful with Baptiste's amplification matrix, okay? If you were running it with something like a Reinhardt, which can fire strike through it, getting kills every single time. I will pan over to Season 13 now and see that everything once again is movement based, and similar to Sim, it suffers from that issue. However, I do think it's better than Symmetra's ult and pretty much all of the ultimates in the E tier, so I am going to place it in the D tier. Rally is a good ult. Rally is a great ult, honestly. In a composition where Brig is being run, you're relying on that global area healing that she deals rather than that big burst of heals. Rally adds onto that with the armor as well, and I think because of that, plus the utility it gives Brig herself, Rally is a very, very good ult. It's an incredible space maker, it's an incredible pacemaker, and I'm not talking like the thing for your heart, I'm talking about Overwatch game pace. Brig's ult is a very solid A tier, I'd say. A tier for Brig ult. Illari, Captive Sun is a sticky one because of Kiri. But other than Kiri, it's excellent. Very, very excellent. The utility it provides is great. However, it can be countered by a lot of things. The damage output it provides, especially with like the chain links and stuff between each sunspot, is ridiculous. Not even considering the fact that it's a support ult. It's ridiculous for a damage ult. It's really good, but it's just countered by Suzu so much. That's the only real threat for it other than shields and stuff. So I think it would be fair for me to place Captive Sun in the A tier because it's good and fast charging. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. Juno is very prevalent in Season 13. We can't make it up. In the earlier stages of Overwatch, there was a period where Moira was meta, okay? It was Moira Lúcio, and Moira would be run as an early ultimate and burst heal. That's it. So, Moira would never throw healing orbs, only throw damage, get ult as early as possible, and the first team to have coalescence would win the first fight. This is what Juno is like in Season 12 and 13. It's quite a fast charging ult, and because of that, Juno usually has it first, and it's going to be the opening move to a lot of engagements. It's an incredible ult because you can send your tank forward whilst your damage and support stay in it, allowing for the space to be made with it whilst the tank gets the value from the extra damage behind him. Juno ult, for me at least, an easy S tier. Kitsune Rush. There's no mistake about the Rush. Kitsune has been strong from the day of its release back in whatever year it was. It was the worst year I've ever had in my life when Kiriko came out. Hate that stupid slag, but that's not the point of today. There's no biases here, folks. Kitsune Rush is nuts. It's nuts so. It does everything you need it to. Speed boost. No, it doesn't do damage boost. That hit speed increase. Man, oh man. Those two things combined should be two separate ults, but they're one. It's just insane. Kitsune Rush, the easiest S tier on here. In fact, I'm gonna move it where Sigma's is because it's so good, and I'm gonna grab Sigma's, and I'm gonna move it way down here because that's just how good Kitsune is. Lifeweaver's tree is not good in most situations. It provides armor like Brig Rally, however it doesn't move with Brig like Rally does. It's stationary, and obviously in this stage of Overwatch 2 where everything is movement based, stationary is always going to be bad. You see the ults at the bottom here. Doomfist, you land in one spot, people just walk out of it. Orisa, you walk. Baptiste, you run. All of the ults toward the bottom here you just walk away from, and this is no exception. The fact that it's a support ultimate, which are some of the stronger ults in the game, it really hinders you by having a Lifeweaver because the tree is so weak and you don't have one of those stronger ults in your roster. For that reason, I will put it down here in the E tier. I do like the Tree of Life, but it's not biased here. It's just at the bottom. Lucio's Sound Barrier, however, a fantastic, amazing, a marvelous ultimate, if you will. It's an incredible engagement tool and defensive tool. The fact that it does both of those are the two main reasons why support ults are used, and it can be used either way. You might not need to use it defensively in some situations, and not needing that defensive ultimate can really hinder you in some situations, like Lifeweaver, where you don't need the tree if you don't need a defensive ult. You're not going to use it offensively. It doesn't work that way. Sound Barrier can be used defensively as well, and that's why it's so good and so versatile. Sound Barrier, for me, has always been, and always will be, an S tier. Mercy's Valkyrie. Valkyrie isn't a terrible ultimate, in fact. I think Mercy's kit, a lot of it, isn't that great. But Mercy's Valk is pretty good. I think the issue with the ult is that what Mercy provides overall isn't that great. The damage boost from her that she can provide to numerous people is similar to Juno ult, but Juno's ult does it better. The healing it can provide to multiple people is similar to Transcendence, but Transcendence does it better. Obviously, you have the flexibility to switch between the two. That's why I wouldn't put it right at the bottom, but I wouldn't put it too much higher than that. I think I'm being generous by putting Valkyrie in the C tier because I couldn't decide between C and D, but I'll put it there. Moira's Coalescence. Now, I've brought up that point about Juno's ult, and Coalescence is still a good ult for that reason. Because you earn it so quickly, because she's such a burst area healer, you're going to be getting Coalescence as one of the earlier ults of each round pretty much every time. It's good for that reason, but what it provides isn't super strong when in comparison to Juno's Orbital Ray. I put it as a rough middle ground in the C tier, but in all honesty, it's not terrible. And the final ultimate for this tier list is going to be Zenyatta's Transcendence. Transcendence has pretty much always been overshadowed by Lúcio Beat. However, you've always earned Transcendence faster than Lúcio Beat, even more so now because they buffed it to make you earn it much quicker. The issue with Transcendence is that there are so many countermeasures for it, such as nade and things just out-damaging it in general, plus better alternatives such as Juno ult, which heals like that and does something else. Beat, which provides overhealth, which is just infinitely more useful than healing. It's not terrible, but it really isn't good. I'm gonna put Zenyatta's Transcendence in the D tier, above those ones in the E, because it counters pretty much all of the ones in the E and the D as well. That's gonna be the tier list. A lot of you guys hate me, and I wanna hear it. What do you disagree with here? Let me know down in the comments section. Tell me where I'm a fuck up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Clowner. That's the tier list for Season 13's Ultimates. I'll see you guys in the next one.